Ryuko Matoi finally gets to fight with her father's killer in my review of Kill La Kill, episode 12. I love anime for anime's sake. This is one of those shows that I think could only work within either an animated medium or a comic book or manga medium. This episode was insane. It was crazy. It had a lot of action and a lot of really unexpected events. But mostly the most important thing about this episode is getting to learn a little bit more about Nui Harime, who is the girl who killed Ryoko's father, and they show the entire scene of it, and I love when they do flashbacks in Kill La Kill, how they make it have that like 4x3 look to make it old school. Get it? It's a flashback. But the whole scene of Nui actually fighting against her father is really cool, it's really intense, and they really aren't getting into his backstory too much. But what I can say is that obviously he was very involved with the life fibers and the Kamui suits and all that stuff, and obviously in the creation of Senketsu. And even the lab coat that he wore was made of life fibers, so even if it was cut, it would immediately start to heal itself. But they have a pretty cool battle where he's using his scissors blade, and she's using this, like, long roll of tape, which can also be turned into a sword, and it's just fantastic. But eventually it does get to the scene where she does finish him off, and it's very disturbing because she's just playfully shoving this giant scissors blade right into his abdomen, and it's creepy and it's disturbing. And this is when Ryuko finally, like, comes to the house for the first time. She's there, like, as she's killing the father, and eventually he just takes one part of the scissors blade and cuts her eye. So that's how she got her eye patch. Everybody was sort of theorizing that's what was going to happen. But I'm really glad that she's the actual killer. A lot of people were saying that maybe it was going to be a twist that she wasn't the killer, but I think it's very appropriate. And this girl is just, she's that type of character where, she's cute and bubbly on the outside, but completely crazy and insane on the inside. And you could sort of see that when she had her eye, like, hit by Ryuko's father for the first time. But let's talk about Ryuko going crazy on Nui. This part of the episode was, well, crazy. As Kill La Kill usually is, Ryuko goes through a nasty transformation because her blood is boiling, and she transforms into this Frankenstein-esque Kamui Senketsu monster, and I really can't describe what it looks like. It kind of reminds me of, like, a William Birkin transformation from Resident Evil 2, just the way it moves around. It's, like, lumbering and shit and all creepy. All I know is it looks wicked as hell. But the episode just gets insane because everything in the entire academy, everything around them is starting to explode and be destroyed. And even the Elite Four decide they're going to join Sasaki on the battlefield. And this is clearly the highlight of the episode, is getting to see Sasaki trying to defeat Ryuko or trying to calm her down. And everything here is just really fun. They're just slashing at each other, throwing each other against walls while running on them like friggin' ninja. Everything around them is exploding with power. It's truly one of the greatest battles seen in the series. And it comes to a point where you pretty much realize the entire academy is about to be destroyed. And they're not the only players in this fight. There's Sumagu, who's the nudist beach guy, as well as the homeroom teacher, who are trying to stop the giant monster and fight against Nui Harime. I love when Sumagu comes in and he has his guns and he starts just, like, firing them all over the place, freaking Dante style. It's just really awesome. But it's pretty obvious that when Sasaki and Ryuko are fighting against each other, that no one is matched against them. They are just destroying everything in their wake. And eventually it gets to the point where they have to try and stop Ryuko. But how are they going to do that? It's going to come in the form of her best friend Mako. And I can understand why. She's the character who's sort of been like the most family-type character to Ryuko. And both her and her family start to drive in, and then she saves her with the power of friendship and a big ol' hug. After Mako and Ryuko decide to hug it out, that's pretty much where most of the episode comes to a close. Everybody starts to calm down, although Honnouji Academy has been completely destroyed. And the episode is interesting because Nui Harime has been told by Sasaki not to appear around Honnouji Academy again, but she's clearly not going to listen to her at all. And it's a shame that Ryuko isn't actually going to be able to get her revenge. However, I guess that's one of the main themes of this whole series, is that revenge really doesn't get you anything. It just sort of brings about this whole cycle of hatred. Starting to sound like Naruto Uzumaki. In the post-credit scene, we are teased when it looks like we are going to be moving on to bigger and better things. It looks like Ryuko Matoi is going to be forced to come along with Satsuki on some sort of giant battle trip, a field trip of sorts. And considering the way Kill La Kill has done things in the first half of the series, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in the second half. This was a very surprising episode. It was very entertaining, and I'm really glad to see that possibly Ryuko and Satsuki are actually going to start teaming up, because honestly, I really see them more as, like, rival characters, especially at the point because Satsuki actually is not the one that killed Ryuko's father. However, she did get the order to have Nui get those scissors from her father. So, in a way, she is partially responsible. However, it's pretty obvious that Ryuko wants to just get her revenge against Nui, and she just really plain just doesn't like Satsuki at all. But I see them as rivals, kind of, you know, Goku, Vegeta, Naruto, Sasuke, that kind of thing. So I can definitely see them forming a bond in the future, especially with all the other Elite Four members. I can't wait to see more of them. They were just as entertaining in this episode. There was a great scene where Sanagiyama came out and he was completely naked, and you could see that the hilt of his sword was definitely in the most hilarious spot. Mako herself is as entertaining as always. She's just an incredibly endearing character. You just can't help but want to smile when you see her. And just all the action and animation this week was just incredibly fantastic. Just fluid, weird, crazy, exaggerated, all over the place, and plain just entertaining to the eye, and again, gives credence to why anime exists. So, because of that, I'm giving this one a 10 out of 10. Just another awesome episode of this incredible series. If you are not watching Kill la Kill, get on it now. Now is the time to start catching up, because things are about to start to get really serious, and the second half of the series is just going to open up entirely, and I can't wait to see Satsuki's ridiculous-ass plan to take over every high school. That's just, you know, the whole world of Kill la Kill is kind of confusing and kind of strange how it works. But it's so beautiful to look at, and the characters are just so bubbly and interesting that you don't care. You just want to see what they're going to do in this crazy playground that they've set up for them. So clearly I love this episode of Kill la Kill, one of the most entertaining episodes of the series so far. Had some great battle scenes from Ryuko and Sasaki and the brand new girl, Nui Harume. How did you guys feel about this one? Did you have any favorite moments? Maybe some stuff you possibly didn't like? What do you want to see from the future of the series in this big battle trip they have planned? You can let me know with your comments below. And remember guys, before you leave, give this video a thumbs up. Definitely one of the best ways to support our videos. And you can check out some of the other ones that we're releasing, some of our playlists, and you can subscribe and all that other jazz. So, I will see you next time guys. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.